you can see some legitimate L's there. You can see some, they got hit over the head way more often than that. Now they also have some very, very impressive victories.
Everybody, welcome into TexAgs Rewind. People have been asking, why is OB and Nuno dressed up? We got a press conference today, and every once in a while I like to put on some nice clothes. OB with his Nick Nolte look, and what would this be, Matthew and Nick? This would be my, TV guy who's dressing down but still to do TV look?
What are you talking about? You dress like that all the time.
T-shirt sometimes.
Sometimes, but you look good in that shirt, by the way. I think that might be your color.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Hey, Nick, what was your favorite part of the show?
Billy Liucci, of course.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah.
He was really good.
And you look good.
Thank you. Buddy, I'll give you a hug, like a virtual hug, not a real
nice.
one. Dawson?
I was rather lost in the Schloss today. I mean, it's Monday, so I am always lost in the Schloss Monday. And I was also, Ronnie was pretty fired up about defending Schloss there on the stolen base, which, by the way, metrics back him up. Just did the calculations, so.
I think both of you had very good calls. I'm a little disappointed nobody blurted out Dr. John Thornton. That guy's basketball knowledge, and he's so friendly. He was great on the program. Did I forget anybody? Oh, we did the Go Hour with Olin Buchanan. The Aggies are going dancing. Baseball's going to regroup. The women are going dancing. What else am I missing? You got track and field had a great weekend.
Yeah,
tennis.
Softball, tennis.
Softball.
Golf, I think, actually pretty well, too.
There we go.
Golf.
So a lot of great stuff here on the Rewind. Check it out. So let's be optimistic for a minute because you said they can. Let's kind of talk about the scenario. There is no guarantee this team's going to beat Nebraska, right?
No.
Nebraska, I say they remind me of Penn State, not the way they play basketball. And in fact, I'm going to do a lot more research on them, but a Big Ten team that can hit threes, all right? That's where I see the comparisons. And they don't have, what was it, what was the Penn State point guard? Jalen Pickett. They don't have a 6'4", 220-pound point guard that can back you down.
No, but they got the best Japanese basketball player that ever lived.
His nickname is?
I don't know.
Come on.
The Japanese Jordan.
No, the Japanese Steph Curry. That's legit his
The
nickname.
Japanese Jordan sounds better.
So he only averages 14.9 points per game. But if you watch them play and you saw anything from the Big Ten tournament this weekend, dude hits crazy shots, is capable of going for 25-plus on any night. But, so I'm not saying that they're I have BAS. I'm sorry. People get mad. I do. Just because I'm cautious about games. I think they should win. Yeah, they're the 9 seed. I don't care. I think they should win. Not saying they will. It'll be a very tough matchup. But you get Nebraska, 8-9. This team does 500 in conference play. Can they win this game? Absolutely. Then you get U of H, one of the best teams in the country, if not the best behind UConn, right?
Mm-hmm.
They went toe-to-toe with them. Yes, they got down huge. Mm-hmm. That's what they do, by the way. They went toe-to-toe with them without boots, okay? And Manny was not a factor in that.
Right.
All right. And they're playing their best brand of basketball right now.
You know who else is playing besides Manny? Who's playing his best basketball? Solo Washington.
Solo is not alone.
Solo Meal
in his efforts. So for a 1 seed, I'm not saying winnable, but winnable, and under this context. And then you're in Dallas, Texas. If you do that versus a team that doesn't have Coach K there anymore. That's all I can tell you about Duke. I know they're obviously a very highly ranked team, 4 seed. But
is Duke going to make it?
They'd have to beat, let me tell you who they have to beat. They'd have to beat Vermont and then the winner of Wisconsin 5 seed, 12 seed James Madison.
I would bet on Duke.
They did. And I told them before Saturday's game, he said, if I was the coach of the other team, I would say, hey, we just punched the undefeated one of the 2 undefeated teams in the country in the face. We're going to find out if they're going to curl up or if they're going to come back and fight. We got down, I think, and then responded well. And then Evan did his deal, and we were able to hold on. Stewie pitched good that night. So, yeah, man, it's just you're never going to have better players. And this is something that's hard for people. It's even hard for me to accept. Yeah, with the exception of a top 1 or 2%, you are never going to have better players than the other team in this league ever. Like, everybody has as good a players. And so then it just comes down to how you play. I mean, I think there was one error made in the whole weekend, and that was a questionable one on Hayden Schott's ball yesterday. We lost the free base war on Friday and lost the game. We won it on Saturday and won the game. And I'm pretty sure we won it yesterday, but lost the game just because of the timely hit that they got. So we had Caglione on the ropes in the first couple innings. We just didn't get the big hit. And that's the part of baseball that's so frustrating because there's no way to practice it. You're just trying to put together a good at bat, and hopefully a ball falls in or goes over the fence.
Schloss, let's talk a moment for Gavin Grahovic. Just the weekend that he had, the 2 home runs, but the defense especially over the weekend.
I mean, I don't know if I could be more proud of a player than I am Gavin on, how he handled himself in a leadoff role in his first SEC series at Florida, big crowd, nationally televised game. But you hit it, David. The way he's played defense, it's not his natural position. He's learning that position.
When did you know that this team was a tournament team? Like, with all the chaos around the season and people doubting and saying first 4 in, first 4 out, whatever it may be, was there a point where you're like, nah, that's not going to matter? I know what we've seen in the last couple of years, but this team's getting in.
Well, my history tells me that Buzz prepares teams for late season, and they're at their best. I mean, just look at it. Except for that 1 year, we've always finished, on a high note. And I'll say this, going back or alluding to what you just said, I mean, we went through injuries. All teams try to figure out their identity over the course of the season. But I thought at the very beginning of the season, with the way that we played when we had everybody together, not that we didn't continue to evolve, but when we, even in Florida, even, beating Iowa State and battling Houston like we did, I just felt like that was there. But again, we went through that tough spot, and you just didn't know if it was going to be enough time for us to reestablish ourselves. And when we got on that heater at the end when we won 4, then I go, we can do this because we're getting better. And I liked our chances going to the tournament and doing something in the SEC tournament.
Would you agree? I said this on the air yesterday that A&M right now, this stretch of basketball, since the South Carolina game, or even including that game, is playing their best brand of basketball that we've seen all year.
I agree with you. And, and it is that, defensively we're good. Offensively, you would characterize us, you'd say low-scoring games is where we're best at because that's just our identity. But you think about this, our last 3 games when we're 2-1, we averaged 90. So offensively, I think we're coming. Defensively, that hadn't gone away. And I think people are kind of coming into their own at this point in the season.
I know their reputation, and I went and looked at their body of work.
Yep.
It's pretty impressive. They've got I think they've got they're a 7 seed versus Penn State, or they're an 8 seed versus Penn State being a 10. But I think they've got a better resume, body of work than Penn State did last year. Mm-hmm. They've got more wins that made me go, oh. Now they've also got, and it's not like, when I look at them, it's not like they really caught fire at any point. They've been pretty consistently good, but they'll have these outliers where they get just smoked. And they get beat there's a few of them in there where they get beat fairly decisively. And it's not by, when you look at A&M, the games they lost that stand out, where you're like, damn, that's really bad loss. They were all very close. Arkansas both times, Vandy, 2 of those 3 were buzzer beaters, essentially. 2 of them were. What's their other? Ole Miss, which is now turned into back when Ole Miss came in here and beat, everybody's like, Ole Miss is pretty good. That was a buzzer beater. Most of their losses that hurt them in seeding, I think if not all of them, David, were at the very end of the game. Am I wrong here?
No.
And
the hurt their seeding, no, yeah.
The times they got pummeled and beat up
on the road at Bama,
were at Tennessee, at Bama.
Yep.
The only time I'm thinking of where I go, okay, they got handled pretty good in a loss at home was LSU. Got them pretty good that first
game. And that was
A&M
really
was
just
up
the
at
second half.
halftime, yeah. But they really only, got knocked over the head, unless I'm forgetting a game here, twice all year. And Nebraska, you can see some legitimate L's there. You can see some, they got hit over the head way more often than that. Now they also have some very, very impressive victories.
All right, so I'm not going to have Nick do the Trump, but Dawson, do you have any voices that you can do?
Gosh, you put me in the spot there. It's pretty tough. I can't do the Trump because Nick does it way better than I do it.
Well, Matthew is from Chicago.
Oh, I could give you the old Midwestern-y. Hey, how about guys, you go like, subscribe, give a comment, and share it, over down there yonder up in Minnesota.
That was pretty good. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.